Yo, what's up guys, it is Coach Nate here, and today we're going to be having a look at some of my top exercises to help strengthen your glute med. So your glute med is the smaller glute muscle. So we have three. We have a glute maximus, glute medius, glute minimus. Okay, our glute med is the smaller muscle on the side of our hip that helps with our stabilization. Okay, this is super important in sports like running, obviously any team sports that involve sprinting or running, and even when we're doing our gym work, because if we're doing single leg exercises and our glute med is super weak on one side, we're often going to end up rotating or coming up with issues elsewhere. So one issue that I had was because my glute med was super weak on one side, my lower back ended up kicking in, taking over the work. So we want to try and make sure that we've got a good level of strength across both, so that we can do the things that we enjoy without getting injured. Okay, so I'm going to take you through a few different exercises. The first one is super simple. Okay, all we're going to do for this one is we want to get into a little bit of a hinge position. Okay, so I'm not rounding, I'm keeping my back flat, hinge over at the hip. I'm going to be against the wall, and I'm going to push the other leg into the wall, and all I'm trying to do here is an isometric. So I'm pushing with my knee as hard as I can into that wall, okay? So I'm not leaning with my shoulder or my hip, I'm getting my knee against it and I'm trying to drive as hard as I can. We might do something like a 8 to 10 second, drive as hard as we can, chill, go again. So one more time on the setup here. So I'm fairly close to the wall, hinge back, so I've got my hinge going on, a little bit of bend at the knee and the ankle, other leg in, and my shoulder can be against it, but I'm really firing with this leg, trying to push in as hard as I can, okay? Which is gonna help me drive this knee into there. So, as I said, we can mix up, might do 10 seconds maximal, have a little break, go again. And just play around with your setup until you will feel it if you're doing it correctly, okay? As you line it up, and then you get that drive into the wall. Okay. So for number 2, we're gonna have a mini band. This one's quite thin, so you may want to go with a thicker one. This is just so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. So I'm gonna go with a mini band just above the knees. And for this one, again, we're gonna work with the wall. This time, I'm gonna use a med ball. You could use anything this kind of size you can push into the wall. So this is just to prevent too much moving around, so I know that this knee is staying still. And then this foot's going to be back and behind a little, and all I'm doing is working on letting this knee come in, and then I'm trying to drive and rotate out. So let the knee come in, drive away, okay? Upper back and body I'm keeping in a nice neutral, so I'm not overly arching or rounding, just letting that knee come in so this stays nice and tight and firm. Okay, make sure, again, this band's quite thin, but you go with one. If you can hit 15 to 20 reps, you want to be feeling a bit of a burn in there, okay? And then obviously I would switch and do the same on the other side. I'm going to get a bit of work on this leg as well, because it's having to work to drive that knee into the wall and maintain a good position. Number 3. Number 3, again, super simple, not too complex. You can use something for a bit of balance. Here, anything you can hold on to. I'm going to get a bit of a hinge, again, so hinge at the hip, slight knee bend, and this leg is my focus knee, okay? So I want to keep this nice and straight. If you feel like you're moving around, then again, you can use something as a contact point. So on here, I'm just getting that turn and open. I don't want this to move, so instead of just going out to the side, I'm getting some rotation as well. So I'm abducting and I'm rotating together, okay? Trying to get that movement as opening up the hip and really firing up. And again, what we can do on here is work on holds as well. So I might come out, get a little hold, nice control, and back in. Whew. Okay, so I'm starting to feel that now. The next one, again, very similar, but this time we're going to go from a straight leg position. So this time I'm actually going to put the band around the ankles. I'm going to use something just to help me with my balance so that I'm not toppling. So the idea is here is that it's my leg doing the work. I'm not getting too much excessive movement going on up the chain. And I'm just going to balance on a single leg Okay, and with this leg, I'm going not just out to the side again, I'm driving back a little bit. Okay, so I can really feel that glute med start firing up. Try and keep everything else. So again, I'm not moving around too much upper body. Just trying to get that glute med firing away and working. Okay, you can work out, so you might do like 5 more to the side. And then you might go 5, a bit more diagonal and back. Okay, make sure you do both sides though, guys. Okay, so the next few of our exercises are ground based, and some of these are fantastic at really firing up into that glute med. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is we're going to take the band, we're going to go just above the knees, and we're going to do what's called a clamshell. Okay, so from this position, if I'm lying flat, legs straight, I'm just going to bring my knees up a little bit. Okay, and you can either do it here, or you can come, if you're more comfortable, up. I would suggest doing it down so you can try and keep this bit of your body flat and straight so you're not compensating elsewhere. Okay, all we're then trying to do is drive the knee up as high as we can, but without arching our back or rotating. Okay, so I'm just trying to work through the glute med in there and back down. Okay, you see if I turn and I start using my back and rotating, I can get a lot further, but I just want to focus on that glute med. Okay, so that is our clamshell, or resisted. What we can also add in is we can do there, and then we can work some internal rotation as well, and then back down and in. Okay, so I drive up, get my external rotation or my abduction, then I'm going to turn, try and get that internal rotation, get the foot up, let the foot come back down and work it in again. Okay, and you'll soon start to feel that burn on there as you're working through these repetitions. Get the internal, back down and in. Okay, we could also do quite intense, but we could take that band around to the ankles, and on this one we're actually just going to lift both legs slightly off the floor. Ideally let your head or your neck rest, and then we are just doing a straight leg. So in here I'm just working on a straight leg and trying to raise that up. Okay, notice I'm not going very high here because the band is stopping me, but I'm really feeling some juicy activation into that glute med. Okay, so that is a nice, basically any exercise you do, you add the mini band to it and you're going to start to feel a bit more of a burn on there. Okay, so the last couple we're going to have a look at, I've got 2 variations, slightly easier, slightly harder. So the easier version is just a kneeling side plank with a straight leg lift. So make sure I don't kick these. So firstly on here, make sure that the body is aligned and straight. Okay, I then want to push into my arm, and because I'm going to do the beginner version first, okay, make sure that elbow is underneath the hip. I want good alignment. Top arm can either be up on the side, and then I'm just kicking that leg out straight and I'm trying to hold it. Okay, slightly easier would be to work on repetitions. Okay, the reason that is easier than just the isometric is because you're getting a little bit of a rest on the way down, whereas isometric we are holding that hardest position the whole time. If you can work that comfortably and you feel strong there, let's say you can hit 12-15 reps, and you want to make it a bit more demanding, then you can go either keep it on elbow or go hand, and you're going to work this time into a full side plank. So again, make sure you've got a good setup. Alright, and then we are working on either holding our star position here, or we are working on repetitions. Okay, so that one is quite demanding, that's quite advanced. You're going to feel it. You can either work on your reps, or you can work on holding for time if you're doing your leg lifts. But yeah, that is a good target to aim for, especially if you can hit a good number of repetitions on there. For me, I know I'm a lot weaker on the left side than the right, and that's an area that I need to work on and strengthen up. So team, thank you for watching. I hope you found those variations useful. Start to integrate them into your training. I will be creating a little blog article about this and the best way to integrate different exercises in and my thoughts. Make sure if you enjoyed the video to subscribe to the channel and let me know if there's anything you are interested in me making a video on.